All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to install a new protocol, a technical fix for one of the toughest environments a dev ever has to face, the team meeting. Think of this as your survival guide.
You know, this quote, it really hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? We work in a field that's all about collaboration, but we often treat clear communication like it's some optional soft skill. Well, it's not. It's a core competency, and honestly, it's probably the one we get the least training in.
So let's reframe this. Let's talk about it in terms we, as developers, actually get. A miscommunication in a meeting? That's not some fuzzy, soft-skilled problem. No, it's a high-severity bug. It's the kind of bug that crashes projects, completely corrupts team morale, and ships broken products. It is that serious. So here's our game plan to patch this thing. We're going to define what the high-severity meeting bug really is. Then we'll get into hacking your human hardware. After that, we'll install something I like to call the communication linter. Grab a survival toolkit, figure out how to manage state with tenses, and finally, learn how to properly commit your action points. First things first, Module 1. Look, before you can even think about debugging your interactions with other people, you have to run a pre-computation script on your own system. We're going to get your internal state configured for success before you even walk into that room. So this idea comes from social psychologist Amy Cuddy, and it's basically this. Your mind and body are a two-way street. We all know your mind can change your body, but your body can also change your mind. The way you physically hold yourself is sending powerful signals that are actually changing your own brain chemistry. And here's the wild part, the actual data. Cuddy's research showed that just 2 minutes of holding an expansive, high-power pose, well, it jacks up your testosterone, that's your confidence hormone, by 20%. At the same time, it slashes your cortisol, the stress hormone, by a whopping 25%. You are literally running a script on your own body to reconfigure your brain for confidence. And the best part is, this is a totally actionable protocol. Before that next big demo or a really tough meeting, just find a private space, a bathroom stall works great, an empty office, whatever. Strike a power pose. Hold it for 2 minutes. That's all it takes to run this script and basically install confidence.
Okay, let's move on to Module 2. Now that we've prepped our hardware, it's time to install some software. We need a communication linter, something designed to catch those common runtime errors in our speech that just cause the whole message to fail.
The sound consultant Julian Treasure calls these the 7 deadly sins of speaking. You know what I'm talking about. Things like gossip, being judgmental, negativity, and the big one for us tech folks, dogmatism. That's when we start confusing our strongly held opinions with objective facts. These are the bugs that make people just tune out and completely stop listening.
So, what's the fix? Well, we run our speech through the HAIL protocol. Think of these as the 4 cornerstones of powerful, trustworthy communication. Honesty, be straight, be clear. Authenticity, just be yourself. Integrity, do what you say you'll do. And love, which, in a professional setting just means wishing them well, approaching the conversation with some empathy. This is our new quality standard. And this diff file just shows you the output perfectly, right? Communication that's built on HAIL, it compiles into confidence. It states facts, it actively listens, it uses the word we. But communication that's built on those sins, that compiles into arrogance. It interrupts, it confuses opinions with facts, and it's all about I. All right, on to Module 3. Now we're going to build a toolkit, a set of practical, functional phrases you can basically use like API calls to manage the flow of any meeting and keep things moving, especially when you feel stuck. Think of these as your essential API endpoints for any conversation. Need to interrupt politely to clarify a technical point? Just call, "Can I just stop you for a moment?" Want to disagree without starting a flame war? Try something like, "I take your point, but..." It's great because it validates what they said before you offer your own perspective. Remember, this isn't about being perfectly fluent, it's about being functional. And hey, for those daily stand-ups, here is the absolute most effective protocol, the golden circle. The key is, instead of starting with what you did, you start with why you did it, the purpose. It's a really simple flip, but it makes your update instantly more compelling and helps keep it under 60 seconds.
Okay, let's get a little more technical in Module 4. We're going to demystify a pretty complex grammar topic by treating verb tenses just like a system you already know inside and out, version control.
So check this out. When you say, "I fixed the bug," that's the past simple. It's like a git commit. The action is done, it's logged, it's in the past. But when you say, "I have fixed the bug," the present perfect, that's completely different. That's a state query. You're not focused on the past action. You're reporting on the current state of the system that resulted from it. It's a subtle but really important distinction for clear status report.
And that brings us to our final and, honestly, most important module. After all the talking, all the debating, every single meeting must generate a build artifact. And that artifact is your committed action points. This right here is the critical takeaway. If you walk out of a meeting and there are no clear assigned action points, that meeting didn't actually produce anything. It was just noise. It wasn't progress. Real progress requires a tangible output. And here's the syntax for that output. Who does what by when? It's that simple. This structure completely removes any ambiguity. It creates clear ownership, it defines the exact task, and it sets a deadline. This is how you turn a conversation into actual code. So, let's just wrap all this up. The core principle of this entire protocol is this. The goal is not to become some perfect, eloquent speaker. The goal is to be heard, to be understood, and to be effective. It's all about functional competence, not flawless fluency.
So there you have it. That's the protocol. I'll leave you with one final thought to compile in your own time. If language really is the original API for the human brain, what bugs, what legacy code, what vulnerabilities are lurking in your own communication stack?